Hi, my name is Aneesh. I'm the co-founder of Hipcask, an app about whiskies, wines and beers. And today I'm at Romano's at JW Marriott Sahar, Mumbai, introducing you to the beautiful world of whiskies for Lakme School of Style. Scotch is whiskey made in Scotland with a few rules applied to it by law, including being aged for at least 3 years in oak. Single malt whiskey is whiskey which is 100% made from barley and not any other grain. If the whiskey says single malt Scotch, then it applies to the whiskey is a single malt whiskey from Scotland. Otherwise, it could be made anywhere in the world, and India makes it as well. Bourbon is a name you'll see on a lot of bar menus, and bourbon is a whiskey from the US where primarily the ingredient is corn and not barley. Whiskey is distilled. It's actually a clear spirit like a vodka would be. But the flavors actually come from the barrels it's been aged in, and barrels are made with oak wood. A very common term you'll hear is whiskey on the rocks. Now, this is not whiskey on the rocks. Whiskey on the rocks started because in Scotland, they wanted to chill their whiskeys a little bit, so they would go to the seabed, pick up some stones which were chilled and put them in the whiskey. That's how whiskey on the rocks started. And the whole idea is to add maybe a cube or two max to your whiskey and not so much. At the end of the day, you want to have whiskey, not whiskey flavored ice. I'm going to show you how I like to taste whiskey, which is either in a Glencairn whiskey glass, which is a little hard to get, but even the wine glass works perfectly. Never get that big tumbler, no ways. I'm going to pour two whiskeys here. One is the Balvenie Double Wood 12. And the Glenfiddich 15. Now imagine, these whiskies have been aged for 12 years, 15 years. You really want to understand what it's all about, right? The first thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of water, just like a teaspoon. And I'm doing this to get the strength of the whiskey down. So both of these whiskeys have 40% alcohol, and I just want to bring it back to like 35. It's easier to taste, otherwise it's too much alcohol burn on your palate. So I want to swirl the glasses a little bit. I'm not going to go too aggressive about it. I just want the water to dissolve, and then I'm going to smell it. Now here, you just want to identify some flavors you can relate to. So for me, for the Balvenie Double Wood, I'm getting a lot of vanilla, which is a very common flavor profile you'll get from whiskies. And on the Glenfiddich 15, I'm getting a lot more spice. So all of these are very usual whiskey flavors. Once you're done smelling, you just want to taste it, of course. Start with a small sip, don't have to take a big gulp. And if you're new to whiskeys, this is going to take a little bit of time to get used to. So if you've been drinking it with cola, you'll have to gradually decrease your quantity of cola and eventually move on to this. But it's a great way to actually analyze what the whiskey tastes like. Now imagine people have put in effort to age it for 12 years, 15 years, 21 years. You really want to understand what that evolution does to it. Does age matter with whiskies? Well, yes and no. In the case of a lot of Scotch and even a lot of bourbon for that matter, the age is not shown on the bottle, but you know it's been at least 3 years aged by law. When it comes to more high-end whiskies and single malt territory, you will have the age mentioned on the bottle, and that age is the minimum time it's been aged for in oak or barrel. Now imagine people have spent time 12 years, 15 years, 21, 25 years aging a whiskey, and we're going to add coke to it? Not really. I don't think that's cool. It's like buying a Ferrari and installing an LPG kit in it. So don't do that. Show some respect and try and understand the whiskey a little better. So my 5 recommendations: if you're starting with Scotch, get a bottle of Grunt, starts at about 2,000 rupees in India. If you like bourbon, Maker's Mark is fabulous. For single malt Scotch, Balvenie 12 or 15. For Indian whiskies, you have to get Amrut's Peated, which is fabulous, smoky whiskey. And if you like a little more exotic stuff, try Nika 17 from Japan. you like good things in life, good food, good music, good everything, why compromise on your whiskey? Just a few things here and there and your whiskey experience can be so much better. On that note, do like, share and subscribe to Lakme School of Style. Cheers.